This is Dr. Marisa Chan with Discovering Parenthood. Today we're going to talk about timeout and timeout with a meaning. And what that means is timeout is a form of punishment. And with punishments, they simply suppress behavior. And that's not what we want. We want behavior to change. So we want behavior modification. Now, before we get started, there is some controversy over using a timeout. Now, the controversy stems from not being used properly. So it's not the technique itself, it's how the technique is being used by parents. So today we're going to talk about how to do a proper timeout, and then a technique that I use, which is the meaningful part, which is providing the child with an alternative behavior. Now, I prefer timeouts for a couple of reasons, and it's age appropriate for toddlers, especially the 2, 3, 3.5 ages. It's very appropriate because their brains are still developing. They haven't quite gotten to the point of, oh, if I hit my sibling, my friends, my teacher, my parent, that hurts them. That doesn't happen until age 3. They don't quite develop pre-thought, pre-causal thinking until about age 5. So we need to adjust some of our expectations. So timeout is appropriate and is mostly appropriate for aggressive acts. Aggressive acts means hitting, biting, kicking, pushing, pinching. You can probably go on and on, hair pulling, whatever that may be. Timeout has been shown to be effective, and I will include a link below to the American Psychological Association talking about the research behind it. And the American Pediatric Association has also found it to be effective when used properly. So we're going to talk about how to use it properly so that it can be effective. So today we're going to have Minnie Mouse is joining us. She is going to be my actress. So today Minnie Mouse has hit her friends for knocking over her blocks. And if anyone has a 2 or 3-year-old at home, you know this is a common occurrence. So ideally, we would want to intervene beforehand. If that's not the case, Minnie has hit, so now we must implement a punishment. So this is what you do. Minnie, now you want to get eye level. You never want to stand over and do this. We don't want to be taller. We're already taller. So we want to get to eye level, and it's Minnie, you hit whoever their name is. There's no hitting. Timeout. And you bring them over to their timeout. Now they can sit in a timeout chair. You can have a space that they stand in. Sitting, standing, it doesn't matter. I'm not particular on that as long as they're staying put. I don't care if they're up and down. I don't need to control that. I just need to remove them from the situation. So it's their age plus 1. So if they're 2 years old, that means they go on timeout for 3 minutes. If they're 3, they go on timeout for 4 minutes. So their age plus 1. You can set a timer, you can look at the clock, whatever that may be. And then at the end of the punishment, you say, now this is a traditional timeout. Minnie, you were put on timeout for hitting and their name. Please go apologize. Hitting hurts. Okay, that's done. It's over with. You can hug afterwards, whatever that is to reconnect. But once the punishment is done, it's done. You don't go back to it. It's over with. Now, what I like to do, because we're telling them don't use this behavior, but they're 2 and 3. They only know they're impulsive. There's no filter. They feel something, they do it. So you have to give them another behavior. And so as a mom, as a professional, this is what I do with time when I finish a timeout. So they've completed the timeout. And I would say, Minnie, you hit your friends. Next time, use your words. Say, no, don't knock over my blocks. So whatever it may be, maybe they put, whatever the behavior is, you want to encourage another behavior. So you can encourage, say no. Or it can be, next time that happens, come tell me and I can help you. You want to keep your explanations simple 2 or 3 sentences, you're talking about a 2 or 3-year-old. Now, as they get a little older, especially once they approach 5 years old, you can now, especially if you've been laying that foundation, you can say, and this is what I've started with my middle child who's just turned 4. I will say something after his timeout. What could you have done instead? So you want to encourage them to think, well, what alternatives do I have? So if you've been laying the foundation, that's a good question to ask, another stepping stone. If you haven't, you want to start to give them tools. We can't expect them to develop these tools if we, the adult, haven't given it to them. So that is how you do an appropriate timeout. Again, don't do it in anger. You don't want to be yelling, because the idea is that you're close, you're nearby, and you're making eye contact. Make sure they're looking at you. So I don't need to yell. I already have the child's attention. Now, if timeout is not something you're comfortable with or it doesn't work. Now, my oldest never responded well to a timeout. He doesn't like them. They didn't work. They weren't effective. I didn't use them. I used a firm voice, and that worked very well. Now, again, eye level. You don't need to yell. So take that deep breath, count to 10, whatever that may be, to get you into that mindset of, I need to enact discipline. Okay, it's mini. So mini. There's no hitting. Now, I'm not yelling, but my voice is raised and I'm firm, because the point is I need to elicit a reaction. Because we want to stop this behavior. And again, you want to offer an alternative. Next time, you can do and then name something else they can do. They can either walk away. They can say, hey, that's my turn. Or I don't like when you do that. Or a simple, no, stop. It is highly effective. So that is a traditional timeout, or what I like to use is a timeout with meaning. So I'd like your feedback, your thoughts. What have you used? If you use this and if it works for you, let me know in the comment section. And again, I'll provide those links below to the research. Thank you.